Hello, this is News Plus and Viewer Television. I'm Jay Malik. Now, the World Health Organization has selected the first 6 African countries to receive the technology needed to produce mRNA vaccines, a move aimed at ramping up production and countering vaccine inequity. Egypt, Kenya, Nigeria, Senegal, South Africa and Tunisia will gain access to technology and training to enable them to design and manufacture their own COVID jabs. WHO Chief Tedros said. Now, the global mRNA technology transfer hub was established last year to support manufacturers in poorer countries to produce their own vaccines, ensuring that they have the know-how to manufacture mRNA shots at scale and according to international standards. Now, the mRNA technology used in Pfizer Biotech and Moderna COVID-19 vaccines provokes an immune response by delivering genetic molecules containing a code into human cells, teaching cells how to produce the proteins needed to mount a defense against the virus. And on JAM registration, the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board has warned all operators of computer-based test centers, e-pin vendors, staff of JAM and others involved in any aspect of the 2022 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination and the direct entry registration exercise against keeping any of candidates' data. JAM warns that none of the officials in the registration value chain is authorized to keep candidate profile codes, UTME registration or phone numbers which candidates may take available to them in the course of the registration process. The board in its weekly bulletin added that candidates, on the other hand, are also urged to ensure that they guide their information jealously by providing their details to only designated officials. The registrar described the commencement of the registration exercise, which had begun on low-key, as a positive beginning and assured that all the little hiccups noted would be addressed. Now, candidates can also make use of the USSD code 66019 to generate their profiles. The National Information Technology Development Agency has established a partnership with Airtel Nigeria to provide digital literacy and ensure data protection in the country. Now, the partnership was part of the organization's joint corporate social responsibility to ensure that the National Data Protection Regulation was implemented. The Director General of NITDA, Kashifu Inuwa, while receiving the Managing Director of Airtel Nigeria in Abuja, said the partnership would promote digital skills among citizens. Inuwa said the NDPR was not established to stifle innovation, but to promote the implementation of digital literacy, a target of President Muhammadu Buhari's administration, which projected 95% digital literacy by 2030. He stressed that the government's role in businesses was to intervene in terms of policy, infrastructure in the unserved and undeserved communities. Now, former Lagos State Governor Bola Tinubu has said that he doesn't mind following his political detractors into the gutters if necessary to achieve his ambition of becoming Nigeria's president in 2023. Now, Tinubu, who spoke during his ongoing consultations for his presidential aspiration to the Alaafin of Oyo, Oba Lamidi Adeyemi and Olubadan designate High Chief Lekan Balogun, vowed that no amount of intimidation could halt his determination to become Nigeria's next president. The All Progressive Congress chieftain, while speaking at the palace of Alaafin Oyo and the residents of the Olubadan designate, said the country was at a crossroads and was ready to get dirty, stating that he was all out to become the president of the country. He added that his visit to both Oyo and Ibadan was born out of his respect for the royals too, and as well to seek for their blessings, cooperation and prayers to lead the country come 2023. A federal high court in Abuja on Monday dismissed the suit seeking to challenge former Vice President Atiku Abubakar's eligibility to vie for the office of the president. Now, delivering judgment, Justice Iyang Eko dismissed the suits on the ground that the plaintiff that instituted the case lacked local standing to do so. A group and incorporated trustees of Egalitarian Nation for Africa had sued Atiku, PDP Independent National Electoral Commission, and Attorney General of the Federation as forced to forge respondents respectively. The group asked the courts to hold, among others, that considering the provisions of sections of the Constitution and circumstances surrounding the former Vice President's birth, he cannot contest for the top office. The Adamawa state government had told the courts that Atiku was eligible to vie for the office of the president. It said Atiku, against whom the suit was primarily directed, is a citizen of Nigeria from Adamawa State who had been elected as a governor of the state in 1999 and served as the vice president of the country between 1999 to 2007. Now, the All Progressive Congress has written the Independent National Electoral Commission cancelling the National Convention of the party earlier fixed for February 26, 2022. In place of the convention, the party has fixed March 26, 2022 as date for its zonal congresses and has urged the Commission to monitor the congresses. In a letter notified the Commission of the conduct of the zonal congresses and signed by Chairman Mai Malabuni and Secretary John James, respectively, of the Party Caretaker Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee, the party says the notice supersedes earlier notice for the National Convention with reference APC NHDQ INEC 019-22-14. And on ASU strike, Nigerian students have bemoaned the incessant strike actions by the academic staff union and universities. The recent strike, which was announced by ASU a week ago, has left students in what many of them have described as exhausting and discouraging. A 500-level law student at the University of Lagos, Philip Udo, revealed that the frequent strikes have been exhausting and discouraging. Similarly, Toby Akindele, a final year student of the University of Ibadan, Oyo State, says that the strike have become a tradition the students are learning to live with. The recent strike resumed due to the failure of the federal government to fulfill the demands of the agreement it earlier reached with the union. According to ASU's national president, Professor Emmanuel, some of the contending issues include funding for the revitalization of public universities and academic allowance, poor funding of the state universities, and promotion areas. A federal high court in Abuja has declined an application for bail by the suspended Deputy Police Commissioner Abba Kyari. Justice Iyang Eko, in a ruling on the ex parte application for the enforcement of his fundamental rights, ordered Kyari to serve the respondent. Now, the judge ruled that upon studying the process of the applicant and the averments in support of the application, the respondents be put on notice so they can answer to the averment. Now, the judge fixed the matter for hearing on Thursday, February 24th. Recall that Kyari, who was arrested by the Inspector General of Police Akali Baba and handed over to the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency over his alleged involvement in a drugs trafficking cartel, has been in detention since February 14th. Now, operatives of the Department of State Service have on Monday barred lawyers to the detained leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, from meeting him in custody. Now, Special Counsel for the embattled IPOB leader, Ifeanyi Ejiofor, made this known in a chat with newsmen. Now, according to him, the secret police also prevented the lawyers from meeting Kanu last Thursday, an act Ejiofor said was in contravention of the order of Justice Binta Yanko of a federal high court in Abuja that Kanu has access to his lawyers twice a week, Mondays and Thursdays. Now, Nnamdi Kanu, a secessionist leader, is a holder of Nigerian and British passports. He had earlier jumped bail in June 2018 before leaving for United Kingdom, though he said that he fled because his life was no longer safe in Nigeria. The United States Agency for International Development, USAID State State project, has organized a 3-day training on conflict sensitivity for journalists and media. Spokesperson in Bauchi, Viewer Television's Bauchi State correspondent Hawa Hassan, reports the aim of the trainings is to equip journalists with the prerequisite knowledge of analyzing information as well as to enhance their capacity on conflict sensitivity reportage. The report.
Let us discuss why is conflict sensitivity important?
How sensitive is managing information and how important it is to journalism, especially when conflict is involved.
When we put it into use, there will be conflict reduction, conflict minimization, and conflict what? Management in your budget. Thank you.
The USAID State-to-State project has seen the need to train journalists and media spokesperson on conflict sensitivity in Bauchi State.
The training is about enhancing the capacity of media spokespersons and journalists on conflict-sensitive reportage and ensuring that press releases, news reports, that comes out from media houses, from government agencies, don't exhibit tensions and conflict in a state.
So we gave them the tools to help them step by step before they report conflict. This is how they need to analyze it. And for those who communicate government policies, programs and plan, we told them that there are many channels available to them to make people buy into government policies and then not make people to panic or throw people into confusion, that they should leverage on all of those channels.
For participants drawn from across ministries, departments and government agencies, as well as media organizations, the training is an eye-opener.
We are equipped in the sense that we will report conflict professionally without making the report to be adding flames on the conflict, but rather it will just suppress the conflict, even if at all there is.
We have also learned on how to minimize chances of creating unnecessary conflicts by ensuring professionalism, by ensuring a very good report that is issue-based.
For the trainers, the commitment shown by the participants is a clear manifestation of their readiness to make positive change.
Well, so far so good. It's been wonderful. I'm personally excited with the crop of participants that are here. The participants are well experienced, they are well informed, and I am glad to have these participants who have been very interactive. In fact, some things I hear them say, I'm glad to see how they are already thinking of applying the lessons of the training in their daily work.
It's an eye-opener to many of them about their role, and some of them agree that they have never been trained since they took up those positions in their MDAs to speak for government, and it was just they are getting to know, and they feel that after session ends they don't want to go, they still stay back.
Awal Hassan, Viewer TV News, Bauchi.
Now, the Northern Comrade movement of Nigeria converged in Kaduna State to discuss the 2022 Leadership and Security Summit. Stakeholders insist tackling insecurity must center on pragmatic solutions. The roles of leaders in tackling the series of insurgencies must take a social approach. In an interview, famous Islamic cleric Sheikh Gumi insists the need for dialogue with warring parties is necessary, just as military power cannot be exempted. The Islamic cleric, however, says he looks forward to seeing 2023 where justice and equity shall be accorded to all citizens. The leader of the Arewa Youth Consultative Forum, Yerima Shetima, accuses the government of what he described as a lack of political will in addressing issues of insecurity. He calls for outright restructuring and total re-centralizing of the nation's security system. Community policy, he says, is the way forward, and the federal security forces must be complemented.
Under normal circumstances, one would have expected that this issue of insecurity for over time would have gone far by now, but it's obvious that we're not doing enough. Either on one side you say the government lacks the political will to address the issue, or that some of us who are of the view that we don't expect to get the results under this arrangement. That means my word goes to issue of restructuring, where I'm of the view that I'm one of those who also is canvassing for total decentralizing of the security of this country. The federal police should continue doing their job. The SSS, the army should continue doing their job. But I'm of the view that we need community policing for effective intelligent gatherings to complement the effort of the federal security forces. I think to that extent, with constructive engagement, we can make headway. But if we don't change our pattern and approaches to issue of insecurity, we do not also expect to have different things as a result.
Security in Nigeria, actually, what we are having here are different kind of insurgencies. Whether insurgency in a nutshell of ideology or ethnicity or regionalism. And we think there are social problems that can be solved socially. We cannot say everything has a military kinetic solution. We don't rule out the use of power because you have to be in a position of strength. But dialogue. When you say call the leaders, usually people think, okay, put more military, put more weapons. No. What we need is to bring the warring factions, put them together in a dialogue, and a serious dialogue with them. And they should have confidence, and there should be intermediaries, people like the clergies, who they usually trust, to be in between, and I think such a feat will bring peace to this country.
The Nigerian Airspace Management Agency says it is collaborating with international aviation agencies and program implementation to ensure global best practices in Nigeria. Now, the acting manager director of NAMA, Matthew Pajok, disclosed this to newsmen in Abuja. The reports.
NAMA Acting Managing Director Matthew Pajok said the agency was getting support from international agencies on manpower development and training in various fields of aviation.
It regularly arranges programs, workshops, trainings, meetings, panels. Any issue that has to do with standards is subjected to global assessment. So there are panels to review certain things, certain services, new concepts, and so NAMA, as well as the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority and any other aviation agency, in their own respective areas of expertise or areas of service, they are normally involved fully in some of these concepts that ICAO or the International Civil Aviation Organization drives. So we're fully involved at different levels at the initiation of new concepts or new projects or new programs. They carry every country along, and so we're fully involved. They do also organize training programs, workshops, and meetings that also helps to ensure that there is a collaboration of whatever systems we're implementing or programs or initiatives we're doing in Nigeria. It is in line with global.
Pajok said that NAMA was also partnering the European Air Navigation Services on exchange of manpower and provisions of training support.
In Nigeria, very key to being successful in this industry is the need to be able to ensure global standards are maintained. And the International Civil Aviation Organization developed what we call the Global Air Navigation Plan. At the African level, we also have the Regional Air Navigation Plan. And at the national level, we also have developed what we call the National Air Navigation Plan. Now, this plan incorporates the global priorities, the global standards, the global requirements, global concepts. And it is required that we implement that in line with the timelines. The Global Air Navigation Plan comes with timelines. You may say the first 5 years, this is what the whole world should implement to enhance safety, security, efficiency, capacity, interoperability, access, and equity.
And on news around the world, an Iranian F-5 fighter jet crashed into a school compound in the northwestern city of Tabriz on Monday, killing 2 crew and a passerby. Now, the aircraft was on a training mission when it went down in the city's central district of Monajem, said Honava, who heads a crisis management unit in East Azerbaijan province. Now, the head of the local Red Crescent organization said the plane crashed into an external wall and that one of the dead was a nearby resident. A blaze broke out at the crash site and firefighters were seen battling the flames as a crowd looked on. The plane had been stationed at the Shahid Farouk Air Base in Tabriz. Base Commander General Rizal Yusuf told newsmen, adding that he was heading back from the training mission when it encountered a technical problem that prevented it from landing. Now, Ukraine Foreign Minister on Monday welcomed the French initiative for a summit between U.S. President Joe Biden and Russia's Vladimir Putin, saying Kiev hopes it would result in Moscow pulling back its troops. Now, the French presidency said the two leaders had agreed in principle to hold a summit so long as Moscow does not stage a feared invasion of Ukraine. But the Kremlin said it was premature to organize such a meeting. Fears are mounting that the Kremlin could be set to send its estimated 150,000 troops posted along the border into Ukraine. Kuleba called for the EU to start imposing sanctions on Russia now to try to help deter Putin from launching an attack.
We hope, of course, as humor, we hope that two presidents will walk out from the room with an agreement about Russia withdrawing its.
Now let's take it to UK, where Storm Franklin is continuing to hammer part of the UK with strong winds and heavy rain. There is severe flooding in part of Northern Ireland and hundreds of floods warnings remain in place across England and Wales. Franklin comes days after Storm Eunice killed 3 people and left 1.4 homes without power. The highest wind gust speeds on Monday morning reached 79 mph in Capel Curing and Wales and 78 mph in Orlock Head, Northern Ireland. The Met Office issued 2 weather warnings for Monday, an amber warning for wind in Northern Ireland and a mild yellow warning for wind covering Wales, Northern Ireland, most of England and parts of southwest Scotland. And that's all we can take on News Plus. Do stay tuned from the rest of our programs. Many thanks for watching. Bye for now.